What is up, guys? Crusader Cat here. Today I have another coaster review for you guys. In this video we will be talking about Mind Eraser at Six Flags New England Galactic Attack. Before we can start talking about the review, I should at least inform you guys a couple of specs about the ride you should at least know before you ride this monstrosity. Mind Eraser is a Vekoma SLC, which can basically be found anywhere because it's literally a clone of 40 plus rides. The ride is also 109 feet tall and goes 55 miles an hour. Height varies between different clones because there's different types of models of SLCs across the world. And the smoothness of this ride isn't exactly the best. In fact, it's actually the worst I've been on. This thing bangs your head around like crazy, and especially this thing actually was tied with Mean Streak for being the worst coaster I've ever been on solely because of the restraints. But thankfully, the new trains they got this year actually made it much bearable and similar to the great eraser Maurice Peters. Before I start rambling about why I hate Mind Eraser, let's jump into the VR review. So in total, when I went to New England, I rode this thing 3 times. The first time was just because I wanted to try out the new trains. The second time was actually my first ride of the Galactic Attack VR, and it was the first time a VR headset actually malfunctioned for me. Instead of teleporting through the wormhole thingy at the top of the lift, I stayed in Mind Eraser Road. So basically, I was riding Mind Eraser with a gigantic VR headset on my head. I waited at the exit, I told them about it, and they put me on the next VR train, and it was actually okay. I kind of liked it, but it's not as good as Rage of the Gargoyles, because in Rage of the Gargoyles, I actually knew what I was shooting at. I knew what to look for. I was looking for a bunch of gargoyles and stuff being attacked for me to shoot at. This one, like, I couldn't really tell what was going on. There was just a bunch of flying spaceships, intergalactic crap going on. I don't know. I didn't know what was going on. I was just looking around everywhere, but at the same time trying not to twist my neck because of Mind Eraser's roughness. I believe the targeting system is actually automated targeting, so you don't have to tap the side of your headset in order for you to attack the whatever you're supposed to be trying to shoot at, because whenever I was looking around the screen while trying to brace Mind Eraser, I noticed that a little crosshair showed up and it showed like it was locking onto an enemy ship. So I just let the headset do the work while I just sat there trying to brace the double twist of doom, which is like that double inline twist Mind Eraser has, and I walked off with a score of 121,156. If any of you beat that score, you can comment in the section below. I was just looking for a fun experience to try out before I left New England. The average dispatch interval for this ride is roughly 10 minutes per VR train. New England does their VR coaster differently from other Six Flags parks because they have one train that's only programmed for VR, and they have the other train which is programmed for non-VR. The red train is programmed for VR, well, it's really the only one programmed for VR, and the blue tealish looking one is the one for non-VR riders. While this does help out with people who don't want the VR, it does make the ride wait a little bit longer because there's only one VR train. And even if there is only one VR train, you can't really avoid those problems people have with their headsets because something malfunctions or they're not seeing what they're supposed to see, and then it just multiplies. So that is that. What are my final opinions about the VR headset for Mind Eraser Galactic Attack? I would definitely give this a 3 out of 5. While it is innovative and helpful since there's automatic targeting and you don't really need barcodes to make it function, which allow people to sit in the front row, people aren't really going to know what to shoot at, especially me, because I was just looking around trying to find stuff to shoot at. And at the same time, Mind Eraser's roughness is going to take away from the ride experience. So what do I recommend you do with this ride? What I recommend you do is you definitely ride this at least once for the experience to say that you've done it. Then afterwards, you just let this thing suck up to the general public, because if you're like me, you'll run into lines like this, and this.